Welcome back to the Embodiment and Accountability Podcast, episode 24, Mindset Magic, with my beautiful friend Noreen Nobles. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so happy that you said yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Of course, I said yes.
Awesome. Yay. Oh, I was just like, yeah, so happy because you're just like this beautiful ball of fun, of sunshine. And I'm just like, yes, I want that, on my podcast.
Oh, now you made me feel like I have to be a ball of sunshine and fun. I'm just kidding. I'll try to be my little
Well,
sunshine ball self.
I feel like you already are. So,
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
You're so nice.
I would like to ask you to maybe introduce yourself to people who might not know you or like what you're doing and yeah, things like that.
Okay. So my name is Noreen Noble. I like to say that I am a joy and purpose consultant
Mm.
because I really try to help women find the joy in their lives. And when you find your purpose, it's easier to find your joy. So my background is I was in corporate America for so long. And then when my kids started entering high school, my husband was a stay-at-home dad, right? So he's an awesome dad. He's such a great dad. He's just not the best mom. And when kids are entering high school, there's some mom things that need to be done. So we prayed about it and we decided we were going to switch places. So I started to stay home and he went to work. I made a lot more when I was a vice president of marketing. So I also supplemented our income with I started a t-shirt company, like a spirit wear company. I'm a real estate agent. And then about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I was introduced to life coaching. It was my sister-in-law, and she's like, I think you'd make a good life coach. You should listen to this person. And then I listened to her and I was like, are you telling me to listen to this person because you think I'd be a good life coach or because you think I need it? I need it's both. She says she claims it's both. So I I it was I was introduced to life coaching through mindset coaching first. And so that's kind of what I was going to come talk to your audience about because I know you're a somatic coach and you have all these great techniques and things that you tell them. And I am trained in both. I call it a somatic integrated coach. I use mindset coaching and also somatic coaching because I think that it's important that we understand how our mind works, but then also understand how our nervous system and our bodies work. And so I like to put those two things together. So now that's what I do. And I love it. And I get to hang out with people like you.
Yeah, thank you. Yay. I love it because I feel like you're doing the 100%. It's like the 80% is the body and the 20% is the mind and you're just like doing the whole
Yeah.
thing.
But our lives are 80% run by the 20%.
Yeah,
Like a
exactly.
lot of times we are letting our minds just take over. And I think that if you've never experienced any kind of coaching, life coach or mindset coaching, somatic coaching, it's really hard to get into your body if you don't have your mind controlled a little bit because
Mm.
your mind will just take off and do crazy things. I remember the first time long ago, probably like 10, 15 years ago, I tried to meditate and I really could not even settle into my body because my mind was racing so much. So hopefully these tips will help all you and me and all of your listeners and friends and family to kind of help understand what's happening with their minds and how to like control it and then do the work of dropping it in and paying attention to your bodies.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. I'm like, ooh, and like just the magic of it is,
Yes, the
yeah,
magic of your mind.
yeah, I love it. Yeah, because I mean, if we use it as the tool that it was designed to be used like or
Mm-hmm.
at, I mean, we're winning because
Yeah.
right now it's like the mind is controlling, like you said, like the 20% is controlling the whole thing. And so like if we can understand it and then control it and use it the way that it's supposed to be used, then
Yeah.
it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
we're
We're
having
winning.
it.
Yeah,
We're winning.
definitely winning. Yeah. And I like teaching about the mindset because it gets a bad rap. Even when I was talking about it, where I was like, it's running the show, blah, blah, blah. It's not that it is bossy. It is how we've been trained in our society to use it. And so our minds and our thoughts and all that stuff, they're not bad. It's just that we have been taught to rely on those versus our intuition, our body's signals, and things like that.
Yeah.
So as I'm speaking, I hope when I describe about the mindset that we can all gain an appreciation of what our minds are doing and the beauty that it does, but also giving it saying, hey, you don't control me anymore. It's okay. Like, I want to live a purposeful life. This will help you live in like what you want to be living instead of just reacting to what's happening to you, right? Taking your control and stuff like that back. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And I feel like that's what everybody really wants without even like
Yeah.
knowing it. But it's like, yes. So please talk a bit more about mindset magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was introduced to this by a life coach named Jody Moore, who teaches the concepts put forth by a woman named Brooke Castillo. And I read her book and I was like, what is this witchery? This is so crazy. How can this actually be true? And it's totally true. So it's based on a model. And I'll explain the model, and I don't know, maybe I'll have it written for you and you could put it in your show notes or something for your audience, but because it's kind of hard to follow, but you could rewind. So it's based on the model that circumstances I'll define as factual things that happen to us that we have no control over, that are just straight out facts. And I'll go back and talk about that. But how we think about those circumstances creates a thought. Then thoughts create a feeling. And a feeling actually is the fuel that determines our actions or inactions. And those actions or inactions create our result. So you think that our results in our lives are all because of our circumstance. I would be better if I had this, blah, blah, blah. Or I could have, this would be much a better situation if so and so did this, blah, blah, blah. But it's not. It's all determined by our thought. So let me go back and I will explain exactly what a circumstance is. So a circumstance is a factual thing that everybody can say, okay, yeah, that happened. So I'm going to give them one of the easiest things to talk about, which is the weather. So if you want to say, oh my gosh, the circumstance was, it was hot outside. That's not a true circumstance. That's your opinion of the circumstance. A circumstance would be, it was 72 degrees outside. Now, to someone in the winter in where you are, up far and far north, 72 degrees is hot. But me in Southern California, 72 degrees is like cool because we just had a 90-degree day yesterday, right? So that's what I'm saying is a circumstance is it was 72 degrees outside. So let's take it into another thing. My husband yelled at me. And of course, if you have that circumstance that you're thinking about, your thought is also like hurt and all these different things. But yelled, I know people are going to be like, Noreen, the definition of yell is a raised voice. But however, I have had times where I spoke to my children and I said, can you please pick up your socks? And they're like, don't yell at me. And I was like, dude, you don't, what? I wasn't even yelling at you. I was just asking you, but it's how people perceive it, right? So the circumstance in that category would say, my husband said, and then you put the words like my husband said, I'm not lazy, or whatever he quote unquote yelled at you. That helps in a couple different ways. It strips the drama off of a circumstance, right? So when you can get to a true circumstance, and circumstances are neutral. Now, people will argue with me, and this is actually mindset like 201, 301, but you're like, Noreen, murder is not neutral. But to some people, it is in this world because they do it, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
So a circumstance is neutral. If you don't have a neutral circumstance, then you don't have a circumstance. You have a thought about it. So
Hmm.
when you're making your model, and then this really helps to slow, like some, let's say, let's say I'm just trying to figure out a situation where, and I choose my kids all the time. So sorry, kids, but you're probably not going to listen to this, so it doesn't matter. Um, there was this one day where I asked my daughter to like put away the dishes, and she like completely ignored me and then like walked away. What? Excuse me. So in my mind, it's like the circumstances my daughter ignored me, and my thoughts were all these things. But then I was like, did she ignore me? Because I'm a coach and I have all these tools, right? I was already like ready to like ground her, and I was mad, and I was coming up with all these things. So like, so for instance, so let's just make this into a model. I said words, my daughter didn't respond. That's a circumstance because that was what happened. My thought about it was she ignored me. So my emotion then became, when I thought she ignored me, I was irritated and frustrated and mad and angry, all these different emotions. We'll just choose one because in a model, you just choose one emotion. So I was mad. So when I was mad, what did I start doing? I started thinking of all the other things that she did that irritated me. I
Hmm.
started thinking about, oh my gosh, and then she like does this all the time. And how that I thought about all the ways she should be and how I am like not being respected and she should do this and all this stuff. Then what I was not doing, I wasn't even like paying attention to like her, or maybe she was going through something or anything. Anyway, the result was I was totally mad and I was stomping around the kitchen. So she came down again, and I said to her in a kind of nasty voice, you know what? Like, I asked you to do that, and you didn't even do it. And she's like, what? I didn't even hear you. She's like pulled up her hair and she had her AirPods on.
Wow.
So what I thought was the circumstance, what I thought like I thought she ignored me. The circumstance was I said words, she did not respond, but the reason was because she didn't hear me. And had I like taken the time, when I look back at it, was like one of the things that we do when we have these thoughts is to try to poke holes in our thought. So I should have said, could it be that she didn't hear me? Or was she thinking about something? Because I've been thinking about things before where I just zone people out. Is she okay? Is she not feeling well? If I had those thoughts, my feeling might have been more compassion or curiosity.
Yeah.
Then my actions would have been, I'll go talk to her, or I'll just give her the benefit of the doubt. And my result would have been, I wouldn't have had all these feelings and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that was just one example of how things go. Obviously, a circumstance, like I'm saying, is neutral. A thought is the story we tell ourselves about that circumstance. Then it creates a one word emotion. Sometimes my clients, when I would do this with them, I'd be like, okay, when you thought that thought, how did you feel? I felt like he shouldn't do that. No, that's not an emotion. That's another thought.
Yeah.
So the feeling is a one word emotion. And then obviously that emotion is the fuel that does what we do or we don't do that creates the result. Now, why is this model helpful? This model isn't usually used if we're all in bliss and happy and life is like amazing, right?
Yeah.
Because we created the result we wanted and that's fine. This model is helpful when the result that we have is not something that we want, because then we can reverse engineer it, right? We can say, okay, my result is um I'm not making the amount that I want in my business, right? What are my actions that are creating this? Okay, well, I didn't, my offers weren't da da da, all this kind of, you can kind of look back. Okay, what is the feeling that I had when I created this offer? Well, the feeling was I didn't want to charge enough because I didn't want people, I don't know if I'm worth enough, all that kind of stuff. Like it was feeling was like unsafe. undecided, right? Then what was a thought that created that undecided? The thought would be, I don't want to charge too much. People aren't going to pay for that. And then the circumstance almost always doesn't really matter. The circumstance only matters when you realize that you have created a circumstance in your mind that's not really the circumstance, that's just the thought about it. So then you can go back and say, okay, what result do I want? So then you put that at the bottom, say that the result I do want. What would I have to do or not do to get that result? Okay, well, I can't procrastinate. I do need to like create multiple offers. Da, 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 da. Okay, what would the emotion I need to have in order to do that? Okay, confidence. Okay, if you want confidence, what's the thought that you need to think? The thought I need to think is that I am a good coach and I have done to put this into the world. Like, you reverse engineer and then you create your own mantra, your own thing that you want to feel. And so this is where somatics come in and meet the mindset, right? Is let's say it's too much of a jump to say, go from I'm not worthy to I'm the best person in the whole wide world. So what you do is you do a bridge thought that just says, I am in progress.
Ooh.
And can you feel like the difference if you say that to yourself of I'm
Yeah.
not worthy versus I am in progress? The feeling in your body. This is where you check in with your body. Is you have these different thoughts that you can have. You check in and I'm the best in the world. Well, that doesn't feel so good yet. Okay. But I'm in progress and I'm learning feels really good right now. I feel more confident than I did with I'm not good enough for this. And so you sit with that feeling. And then you sit with it until you actually kind of really believe it, right? You start doing that. Then when you have that feeling, you can say, okay, now that I'm in this energy zone, like what can I be doing? And that's where you create your plans for the day to create the results that you want. And that's how the body and the mind can work together. Now, I'm going to give you a little caveat for all these people that are like, oh, this is kind of cool. I can do this and like never have that thought again. It's not true. Womp, 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 womp. Sorry to tell you, you're going to have these limiting thoughts all the time. And the best way to approach it is if you are finding yourself stuck in a place, just stuck, is to do a thought download, put your timer for 5 minutes and write down all the thoughts that you're having. Then after that, look at them and say, are any of these true? Can I poke holes in any of these? And then you start crossing out the ones that you're like, that's not really that true. You start circling the ones that you feel are super true. And then you work on those because we have a million thoughts, so we can do it. And it's one model per thought, for one thought, per one feeling. Like let's say a model you're creating generates lots of different feelings. Well, then you kind of create them for each feeling because each feeling will have you do just something different. Anger will have you slamming cupboard doors, but frustration will have you looking at all of your faults. Do you see how like different emotions? That way you can kind of like pinpoint where are all these like feelings coming from? Where are all these things? Why am I doing this or why am I not doing this? You can kind of pinpoint it. Now I just gave you, I think, how long did we take to do that? Like 10 minutes. I teach workshops on this for 4 days. So if you didn't get it, totally fine. Rewind, listen again. You could go to, my webpage. I don't know. I have a little bit about it on there. But to me, I call it mindset magic because when you can slow yourself down enough to see what's happening, quite frankly, honestly, whatever you do after that is whatever. It's the awareness, right?
Yeah.
It's the awareness of you're like, if you're in a spiral and you're like, oh, and then you slow down enough to be like, I wonder how this fits into a model. What it happens, it takes your brain, your nervous system from the fight or flight stuff, like straight back into your prefrontal cortex and saying, okay, let's look at this like a calm, normal person, right? And so the awareness of being able to grasp your thought and being like, oh, that one is not the best thought, it's not creating the best result, helps you slow down, helps your body calm down. And then you can do your breathing, your, okay, you're feeling like, okay, what's a better thought for myself? All these kinds of things. Um, so that's why I feel like it's magic.
I
Any
love it.
questions?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I love it. Thank you for sharing. And like I've been into one of your workshop that was using this technique, and I can personally say that it's definitely better to have it, like that titration and that
Yeah.
um with you like guiding it, because like it was so much easier for me like to understand the concept and to really do it the way that was going to be like so much more helpful. I'm sure, that people are still going to get a lot
Yeah.
out of this, obviously. But yeah, I know that your workshop was really amazing, and I really enjoyed
Thank
going
you.
through that process, because I felt it was very like different from what I've learned in like the somatic coaching industry. But at the same time, like you said, because you have both, then there was still like these elements combining and like using the body, still not just because like obviously like the emotions are in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Yeah.
using everything to process and to, like you said, reverse engineer and to get to that, oh, so what result do I really want? Okay, so then this is what I'll have to do to get to that result.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, the circumstances are fact. They're not like negotiable. They're not,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it is what it is, and that's that.
We add the drama to it through our
Exactly.
thoughts.
Exactly. Like we create the stories, we create the
Yeah.
meaning of everything that's what we do, right? We have like all of these filters in our mind of like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is what I'm seeing because of this and blah blah blah, and this is that because of that. And so yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that
What
was
I loved about this model is it brings our power back to us,
yeah.
because so often I see this, well, in my own life. Um, this is what I was doing. I was literally handing my power over to my children, my husband, the mean girl who wanted to say whatever she wanted to say, giving it to them because I was reacting to what they did to me.
Mm.
And when you have, I know this is so complicated and all the things and all the points, but if I could ask your audience to walk away with one thing, is that you are in control of your result. Do not give your power to a circumstance, to a natural disaster, to something else. Take it back. And whatever means that you use, whether you use my mindset model or or your somatic stuff or whatever, or meditation or other, dancing, whatever, just take your power back, have it within you, and do with it what you will. Because if you're the master of your life, then you will feel more connected to your result.
Yeah.
You will feel like you have your agency, you could do what you want. And so this was more of like just a little taste for your audience of like, yeah, you may not grasp the whole concept of the model, but you realize that awareness of your thoughts and your reaction to things has a huge, I mean, has it's that's what's creating your results of your life. So I do also want to say that I spend a lot more time on the emotion, the feeling part, because what my clients often do and what we all often do is when we use this, we find this model, we're like, oh, that thought is making me feel this way. Well, I'm just going to change my thought because we don't want to feel that way. And I
Mhm.
make my clients feel the yucky feeling for a while,
Yeah.
because it's important for us to feel all of our feelings. Because if you're just pushing a feeling away, it's going to come back, and it's going to come back with more force and harder. So that's where the somatics is really beautiful, is to sit into that feeling and knowing that an actual feeling only can last in our bodies for 90 seconds. It's the thought that we have that keeps restarting that clock. So if you find yourself in a spiral, it's because your thoughts are making you feel that way over and over and over and over again. And if we can just whoop, grab our thought, breathe into it, say like, I don't need you to be saying this to me so often, and I'm just gonna feel this anger. I'm gonna just feel this shame. I'm just gonna feel it in my body. I'm gonna find it. What color is it? Where is it? And as you look at it, it will go away. And then that's how you get out of some of those thought spirals. But you have to know that that's what's happening. It's so funny because we're like, how can I let myself do this? Well, we don't know. We're all walking around this life not knowing what's really happening. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. Anyway, I could talk about
Yeah.
this forever. You know
I
that.
know. I love it. I love it. Well, that's why you said like awareness. That's like the biggest key here is like having that awareness, like being able to observe what we're doing on autopilot because it's well, like you said, we've been raised like that. We've been taught to
Yeah.
do things a certain way and to not mind about this, not care about that, and not, like, oh, if you feel like that, just push it away
Push
or
it
push it
away.
down or and just don't cry, don't do this, don't feel that way. And yeah, so I feel like hey, starting to observe what we're doing with that
Mm-hmm.
curious like observation, um yeah, I think that's what I said. But yeah, just having,
Yeah.
yeah, that awareness is so key. And it's always like the first step towards knowing ourselves more and knowing what we're
Yeah.
doing or what we're not doing or like, what we want to change or not change
Yeah.
or. So yeah.
Exactly. I like to say that, for all your troubles and all the things that you're dealing with, I have an app for that. And it starts with A is awareness,
Yes.
P is pause, and then the next P is proceed intentionally.
Mm.
So with as we go through life and there's I mean, as this, as coaches, we have all these tools and we still fall into the traps of things because we are human beings with a human mind living a human life. And so when things go on, I have to really sometimes be like, okay, oh, I'm aware that I'm in a little spiral now. Noreen, pause, take a breath, and then that's when I have time to think about what's going on. And then I'm like, do I want to continue this way or do I want to go this way? And I proceed intentionally. Sometimes I still choose to spiral because it feels good to
I
me.
know.
And I want to cry and pounce around, but I give myself a time limit. Like, you can be like this for an hour and then I'll be like, but it's intentional.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm a reacting, and so I feel like I'm more in control even though it's controlled chaos.
Yes. But
Yeah.
then you are
Yeah.
feeling
But
your
yeah,
feelings.
then I
You
can
are.
assess
Yeah.
and pause again and then say, am I done throwing a tantrum? Yeah, I'm done throwing a tantrum. Now I'm gonna go and go this direction. So
Mhm. Yeah.
also that pause is where we can dance it out, we can yell it out, we can listen to music, we can meditate, we can, all the things, all those, we can just sit with ourselves, we can ground ourselves in nature. There's so many things in that
Yeah.
first pause that is so amazing. And then there's this other thing that you were talking, and I thought of this is, we are all taught to, like you said, we're taught to not feel, not um cry, and not um just show emotion. And I just want to be on the other side. So sometimes I have found when I'm like, hey, how's it going? And my friends are like, oh, not so good. And then immediately I want to make them
Mm.
feel good.
Yeah.
But sometimes a true friend just will sit with them in the not so good. And having awareness of that too, instead of just trying to make that person feel better so that I can feel better,
Mm.
is kind of selfish. So poking around and making sure that, just how can I support you? What's going on? Letting things be out. That's just kind of one of the things that I love, on the other side. Like if it's not happening to you, but how you can be a supportive person to someone
Yeah.
else. is all.
I love that so much because it's like creating that safety for the other person to like feel safe to feel their feeling or to like feel that certain emotion or whatnot and to just be in that and not feel like, oh, I need to get out of there because that's negative and I'm just like being a negative,
Mm-hmm.
person and she won't want to hang out with me anymore because like I'm always like that and blah blah blah. No, like we're here and you can, go through what you need to go through and I'm there if you need anything.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody has a story. It's one of the things I like to teach is about like storytelling, and
Hmm.
I've helped you with that
I
before.
love that. Yeah.
um but I really think there's so much going on in this world. There's so many reasons to be split and divisive, and but we're basing it off of a post or a soundbite or someone's just reaction to something that didn't align with you. But if we take time to hear people's stories, to hear people's lives, we understand that everyone has a different set of lenses. I feel like if we're going to heal the world, it's going to be through listening to people's stories, showing empathy and community. Because I don't,
Mhm.
honestly, I'm not out there. I'm not in politics. I'm not out in fighting wars.
I
The
would
only
vote
thing I
for
can
you.
do is, yeah, seriously, the only thing I can do though is in my circle of influence or the energy that I put out should be of like, tell me your story. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I want to know you, because I guarantee you, if you read someone or if you hear someone's story, your your heart's going to open just a little bit more.
Mm.
That happens a lot with like memoirs. Now, I know that sometimes they're procured, and so don't come after me. But every time I read a memoir of somebody, I kind of like my heart opens towards that person just a little bit
Mhm.
more because I know about them a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
how friendships, we know a little
Yeah.
bit more about each other each time, so we
Yeah.
become friends and deeper friendship. But I think that um there's so many reasons to have your awareness, to grab your mindset, to understand your thoughts, to be intentional, to feel everything, and then to turn around and allow someone to
Mm.
have that same experience and have
Oh.
support in that same experience. That's how we're going to heal the world.
Magic, baby. Yes.
Magic.
I love that. It is so beautiful and so important because, like you said, community, like everyone is like splitting up, like in I don't know, like how many years ago, but like everyone was living in community, like everyone was counting on each other for, like something, and everyone was there to help everyone. But now it's like, oh, we're in our little family bubbles and that's that and like we just say hi to our neighbors and that's it or sometimes not even, right? It's like, oh my God, did you see her cat? She's pooping on my grass or whatever, like, and so it's like you said that separation, but with coming back to that awareness and
Yeah.
to just offer that compassion to everyone, like for ourselves
Yeah.
first. And then to like, once we have that power back, that control back in our hands of like how we feel. And so like we don't feel chaotic, we don't feel like we're out of control. We feel like we have those rein in
Yeah.
our hands. And then it's like having the glass half full, or even like overflowing and then you can share from the overflow. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I heard a quote yesterday that I think is absolutely amazing, and it says that I was looking to say find it so that I say exactly what he said, but he said it's a David Kessler, and he's a grief expert, but he says we can't say it takes a village if we don't have a village.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about is this life experience does take a village. But if we're not creating a village, or we're not fostering a village, it's can't say that. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty profound. And I was like, oh,
So, yeah, so good. And like that support is, like in all of the directions.
Yeah.
It's not just like you with your neighbor and that's that. It's like you towards your neighbor and maybe your neighbor towards another neighbor and all of that. And like I'm just talking about like neighborhood, but
Yeah.
it's in life in general, what if it's at work or in your family or whatever. But yeah, I do feel that community is so key in our lives being so much fuller and more rich
Mm-hmm.
and more because just like what you said with the stories, if you know someone's story, your heart opens up a little bit more. And so what do we want? We want our heart fully open. And so if we have that opportunity to open up our heart a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, then and if everyone else does that, then we're all going to have
Yeah.
our heart open and that's the revolution.
Yeah. Revolution.
Oh, that was amazing. Wow. You are, yeah. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I have like
So
no
nice.
words. I love you
So
so.
nice. I live for the day that my children say that to me.
They will. They will.
I know.
Yeah, I love that. Where do you have any offers that you would like to share with people here?
Yes. I always have my free offer that kind of introduces you, funnily enough, not to this mindset stuff, more to your intuition. However, it's called Overthinking to Inner Knowing, and it's free at www. Or actually no W's. We don't do W's anymore. Just
I don't know. I
Noreen
think we can
Noble.
still do them.
I don't know. Noreen Noble, NOREENNOBLE.com/trust yourself. That's free. And but what I'm super excited about is my membership that's coming up. I'm launching it November 1st.
Yay.
Um, I'm super excited because it's going to be a place. I want to create my village, right? I want to create a village for people, like the village I wish I had when I was going through all my crazy things of kids and cancer and all this stuff. I'm going to be infusing it with all the mindset stuff, all the somatic stuff, all my creative um, nervous system regulation stuff, like through crafts and art and things like that. Um, it's a we'll have a monthly theme, and like all of our sessions will be about that theme or something. It's kind of like however it goes. We meet once a week live. And if you can't make those lives, you get them recorded. But I will be coaching people on live if they want to be coached through mindsets, through somatics, and we'll just kind of create a community together. And then every week we will also have a co-working session where we can just get together. If we want to break out and be like, we're going to crochet together or we're going to work on our art projects together, totally great. We have a book club. I've chosen a couple books for the next couple months. I'm just super excited about it because I feel like this is where I'm putting like all my eggs. And if you sign up before the launch, it's going to be $49 a month. I also give discounts for 6 month and a year packages, but if you sign up before the launch, it's only $37 a month, and you can lock that price in as long as you want to stay with me. And I feel like I want it to be like a healing party. Like I want healing to happen, but I also don't think that healing has to be always so sad and so painful. And
Mm,
if it is, I want it so that you're not holding that alone. So that's why I created it's called the Joy Lab Collective. Um, Information at my website noreennoble.com, and I don't know. I love to see and see you guys there. I love to teach this stuff. So come ask questions. Let me do your models for you. Let me coach you through some crazy stuff. We can do it together. Should be fun.
wow. I love that. Yeah. I mean, with you, of course it's going to be fun. I'm like so excited. Like,
Yay.
yeah. Yeah. Amazing. I love
Thank
that.
you.
And where can people find you?
NoreenNoble.com, NOREENNOBLE.com. I'm on TikTok at NoreenNoble.coaching. I'm on Instagram at NoreenLeilani. coach.rayet, or sorry, noreenleilani.noble. I keep saying my maiden name. But if you go to my website, you can just click to all my socials. It's much easier from there. Or I'm sure if you go to Adion's Instagram, I'm like one of her friends.
Of course. Duh.
Yeah. Yes. I'm excited. Thank you so much for having me here. This was
Thank
fun.
you.
This
Wow,
is
that was
nice to
like
talk to
pure
you.
joy.
Oh,
Pure joy.
we
Like,
just have
woo,
fun
yeah,
together.
I love it. Thank
Next
you.
time we need to put like a fun music track under and we'll just like
Woo.
dance while we talk. It's not gonna be weird at all.
We would be so like
People are like, what are we listening to? We're like, oh yeah. And now breathe. And now yell. And now think about your thoughts. See?
Oh,
People are gonna think, oh, the first part of the episode, I thought she was normal. And now the second part of the episode, I think she's crazy.
like, ooh, now I'm gonna sign up because
Oh
that's
yeah.
fun.
I hope so.
I
So,
love it. Thank you so much
you're
for accepting my
welcome.
offer and for showing up with your beautiful energy and yeah, and your all of your wisdom and knowledge. Thank
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
you. Yay. And
We'll
thank you
talk to you
everyone
soon.
for watching this episode and see you next time. Bye.